The creator of a vast empire managed to marry 6 times throughout his life. It's astonishing how he found the time, considering his biography, endless military campaigns, expansion of state borders, and repelling Viking invasions. Yet, Charlemagne ended up with half a dozen legitimate wives and several concubines. Let's delve into the details. Charlemagne's first marriage took place in the year 768 to the daughter of the Count of Burgundy. Her name was Himiltrude, and this union was advantageous for Charlemagne's father, Pepin the Short. He blessed the marriage shortly before his death, as Himiltrude could ensure the loyalty of the kingdom's eastern neighbors. However, there is a version that suggests Charlemagne's wife hailed from German lands, but even in that case, there are no significant contradictions. The couple had a son named after King Pepin, but a year later, they divorced. The political landscape shifted, and it became more beneficial for Charlemagne to marry the daughter of the Lombard king, Desideratus. The pretty princess was favored by the king's mother, but Charlemagne had his eyes set on another girl. Thus, in the 771, another divorce followed, this time for Desideratus. Once free, Charlemagne immediately proposed to Countess Hildegard. The young woman, some sources say she was only 13, captured the ruler's heart so completely that he didn't want to part with her even during military campaigns. Their daughter, Adelaide, Adele and other sources, was born during the siege of Pavia. In total, this union produced 9 heirs, one of whom became the king of Italy, while another initially ruled Aquitaine and later became an emperor. Hildegard was fondly remembered by the common people. She was a true people's queen, helping the poor and the needy. Was she beautiful? Most likely. After all, Charlemagne certainly did not look at anyone but Hildegard until her death. However, the young woman passed away in April, and by October, the king married Countess Fastrada. As you can see, he mourned for not long. There's a legend that Fastrada possessed a special ring. It granted her the ability to attract the attention of the opposite sex. This is why Charlemagne rushed into marriage. He was enchanted by her and could not imagine his life without her. But the 18-year-old new queen, unlike her predecessor, did not wish to join her husband in his military exploits. She preferred to wait for him at the palace and didn't shower him with affectionate letters. One surviving message from Charlemagne reveals his frustration over his wife's long silence and pleads for her to come to him. Fastrada was also described as a cruel woman, and the massacre at Verdun, orchestrated by the king, is attributed to her influence. Allegedly, the queen told her husband, "Whoever raises their head against the king will lose it." For their defiance, 4,500 people paid the price. It's worth noting that Fastrada entered the emperor's life after the events at Verdun, but some historians argue that the timeline may not be entirely accurate. It's possible that his previous wife passed away earlier, which would clarify the sequence of events. The king was destined to outlive Fastrada. She passed away. There's a theory of poisoning. Earlier, during the queen's lifetime, Charlemagne briefly became infatuated with a girl named Maltigarda, who gave him a daughter. Perhaps she could have been Fastrada's successor, but she likely died in childbirth. Thus, the crown was meant for his 5th wife, Lutgard. The least known of Charlemagne's wives reigned only 6 years, gave birth to 2 daughters, and died for unknown reasons in the 800th year. Ah, what a year it was! On December 25th, in Rome, at St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Leo III proclaimed Charlemagne emperor. Sadly, Lutgard didn't have the chance to be empress. She passed away in June. In the following 8 years, the newly minted emperor did not remarry. He had long-term relationships with at least 2 noblewomen, who bore him 3 children, but Charlemagne only walked down the aisle for the 6th time after 8 years. His last chosen one, Geswinda of Saxony, held little significance. By then, the emperor's sons were growing up, and he was preparing to divide the lands among them, which is why contemporary chroniclers recorded almost nothing about Geswinda or their daughter. Charlemagne left this world in the year 814. His successor, Louis I, like so often happens in such cases, turned out to be the complete opposite of his father. Louis earned the nickname the Pious. He married only twice, never divorced, and lived a long time with each of his wives. A rare occurrence for the 9th century. But that is a story for another time. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, give a like, and thank you for your comments.